our day camp fair for kids age 4 to 12 who live in Guelph-Wellington, or camps that are in Guelph-Wellington. As I know, our session is recorded. If you do have a question, you can put it in the chat, and then after our formal presentation, I will stop the recording and you can turn your cameras and mics on and ask questions. So I'm going to start with, we're going to have Courtney start our presentation off today with the Rainbow Day Camps.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I'm Courtney. I'm the administrator from Rainbow Day Camp. Thank you so much, KidsAbility, for having this wonderful event. If you don't know Rainbow Day Camp, we are a day camp in Guelph. We consider ourselves an inclusive day camp, and this is our 50th year, 50. We're very excited. Yeah, it's crazy. So let me share my little presentation with you, and I can show you a little bit more what we're all about. So at our camp, we do have an inclusion program. This is specifically for, it says youth ages 4 to 11, but we can sneak in some 12-year-olds as well. So if that's a concern and you think your kiddo would do better in our children's camp, we can definitely chat about that. We offer 1 full week of one-to-one support for campers who require it, and that also can include personal care. We partner closely with supporting kids in camp. So if you're in the Guelph area, you can use them possibly to get a second week to attend our camp. And then we also invite families to bring their own personal support worker. And then depending on your camper, we offer 2 kinds of support. We offer the one-on-one support, which I already mentioned. And then we do offer what is called our occasional extra support. And this is really for kiddos who need support just some of the time. And if you are ever wondering if that's your camper, just please contact me ahead of time and we can chat about that before registration. So for this summer 2023, we are running for 8 weeks. We have 2 shortened weeks, our week 1 and our week 6. We have some pretty exciting themes. I'll just read through them super quick for you. So week 1 is Nintendo week. Week 2 is Mystical Medieval. Week 3 is our Rainbow Olympics, so our sports week. Week 4 is To the Moon and Back, our space week. Week 5 is Disney and Marvel. Week 6 is Super Safari. Week 7 is Art Attack, and week 8 is Celebrating Captain Rainbow. And there's definitely going to be a big 50th birthday party happening during that week. And then if you're kind of thinking about what programming may look like at our camp, like I said, we have those themed weeks. This year in particular, we are trying to have kind of 2 very specialized weeks. So that's that week 7, arts and crafts. We really want to focus on really getting messy and creative and playing with arts and crafts and just doing tons of fun stuff with that. And then that week 3, the Rainbow Olympics, we're really focusing on kind of activities with our higher energy, getting everyone running and playing and doing different activities. For the rest of the weeks, you can expect we do some cooking corner days where we make a snack. We do arts and crafts, theater games. Our location has big indoor gym. We have an outdoor space. We do indoor and outdoor activities. 3 afternoons a week, we do water play. So that's sprinklers, slip and slides, water balloons, tons of fun. Every Wednesday, we do camp-wide games Wednesday mornings. And then Friday, we usually have a special guest or a special event. And our counselors also dress up on Fridays and do what we call our counselor challenges. The time and location of our camp. So we actually used to be at the University of Guelph. We did move a few years ago, so that's really important. If you still think of us at the university, we unfortunately are not there any longer. We are located at a school called St. Rene Goupal, which is at 221 Scottsdale Drive, close to College and Highway 6. Our camp runs every day from Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. And then we give you the option of early drop off and pickup from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. And that's no extra cost to the families. So, registration, this is the important stuff. This is the things you need to know. Our registration this year is happening on March 6th at 12 p.m. noon. And as you can imagine, to get some of those extra support at camp, it is first come, first serve. So, you want to be online registering with us at 12 p.m. noon. This date for registrations, that's just for campers who require support. But if you have a sibling, you are also invited that day to register your whole family. So they're all together. You do not have to worry about that. All of our registrations are done online on our website at rainbowdaycamp.com under the Apply for Camp section. And then I highly suggest, if you do not have an account with us, to please contact me before camp at rainbowdaycamp@gmail.com. And I can help you get your account all set up, your household set up, so that when it comes to registration date, you're ready to go and you don't have to worry about another step on top of everything else. Then just before I go, some of my contact information, like I mentioned, rainbowdaycamp.com. The best way to send me an email is rainbowdaycamp@gmail.com. And then our camp office line is 519-837-0387. And I will stop my share.
Okay, thank you, Courtney. I'm now going to turn it over to the city of Guelph. Melissa and Sarah will be presenting, so I'm just going to spotlight them for everybody.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. I am the inclusion coordinator for the city of Guelph, and I have Sarah here with me, who is the coordinator who. Go ahead, Sarah. You can do your introduction.
Yeah, no problem. That's the trouble with two people. We got to figure out who's talking when. My name is Sarah Farwell, and I am one of the recreation coordinators, and I specifically look after the summer camp program. So in the summer, Melissa and I, and all year round, work very closely together for all of our camp programs and other programs to offer, Melissa offering inclusion support within the programs that I run.
All right, so a little bit about our summer camp staff requirements. We hire individuals age 16 plus. Everyone must complete a police and vulnerable sectors check. We run about 50 hours of staff training, which includes program design, behavior management, safety and emergency procedures, as well as general inclusion standards. All of our staff must carry a first aid and CPRC qualifications valid for the whole summer. And then my inclusion staff specifically receive some additional trainings on personal care, program adaptation, sensory needs, lifting and transferring, behavior management, and then everybody will do the NBCI training as well. So what to expect at camp? Sarah sends out an email communication every week, the week prior to attending camp, with some reminders and intro to camp staff. Our larger groups will be split into smaller age appropriate groups, so the 4 to 7 years and then the 8 to 12. Additional intakes for campers requesting inclusion support will be done, and then myself or my summer facilitator reaches out. We go through those intakes and get to know our participants as best as we can. General camp information.
Do you want me to do this one, Melissa?
Yeah. Sure,
okay.
Go ahead.
Just to give you a break from talking.
Yep.
So our general camp information, we run our program between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. and we do drop off between 8:30 and 9 and then pick up between 4 and 5. We have ratios of 1 to 10 for ages 7 to 12 and 1 to 6 if you're in a camp that's specifically for 4 to 5 or 6-year-olds. We do have some camps that range from ages 5 to 12 and those are still a 1 to 10 ratio. Some of our camps swim and then we drop down to a 2-to-1 ratio and we have swimmers supported by camp staff or swim volunteers. So once we hit the pool, we follow the pool admittance guidelines as set out by the Life Saving Society and our aquatics department. Our camps range from $207.98 up to $376.38. And there is one camp that's a little bit more for a 2-week camp, but majority of our camps are $207. Some specialty camps are a little bit more expensive. We run camps all across the city, West End Community Center, Victoria Road Rec Center, at the Guelph Community Sports Dome, out at Guelph Lake Sports Fields at the end of Woodlawn. So not Guelph Lake where the water is, but the sports fields. We run out at Barber Scout Camp and at the the Guelph Civic Museum. We have a camp back there again this summer.
Do you want to continue, Sarah?
No, you go.
All right, so our integrated camp options, so these would be the camps that individuals who require that one-to-one support can attend with a one-to-one support counselor. There's a long list there. The ones that have a little star next to them, they're the camps that have a higher fee because they are a specialized camp. And our inclusion support. So one-to-one support is available for individuals diagnosed with physical, cognitive, and/or developmental disabilities who require additional support to participate in any integrated camp program with the City of Guelph. So it is the support is provided by a paid one-to-one facilitator and is free of charge. So there's no extra cost. You would just cover the cost of your camp fee, and that one-to-one support person would be provided. Families are eligible to receive a maximum of 4 weeks of this one-to-one support over the summer. One-to-one facilitators will provide program adaptations, redirection for safety reasons, opportunities for short sensory breaks, and help with basic personal care needs. And personal support workers may attend camp as well with participants at no extra cost. So just a little information about whether your child is group ready, things to consider. Is your child or youth able to do the following either independently or with the assistance of a one-to-one support person? So able to take direction and instruction from a staff person, comfortable and able to interact in a group environment, able to participate in roughly 50% of our programming, and able to interact and participate in the program in a way that is safe for themselves and others. So does your child need support in our camps? A couple things to consider or answer is extra support required at school? Is extra help required at home for basic care? Is there a diagnosed physical, medical, or or developmental disability that could affect the safety of the participant or others? And does the participant belong to a support agency? So if the answer to those are yes, or any of those are yes, then we suggest that you register for our one-to-one support program. And then if the support isn't necessarily needed, we can go from there. But it's always best to assume that we need the support and then not need it if we come across that. So accessing one-to-one support, the registration is a little bit different. So you'll log into your Rec and Roll account. All of our one-to-one support is under the camp tab. So you would identify which week of camp. So it would be one-to-one support week 1, 2, 3, so on. Within the registration, you'll select your camp choice for that week. Again, a maximum of 4 weeks of one-to-one support is accessible. And then you would complete the registration and payment. Once the registration is complete, you will be required to fill out that intake form. It's quite lengthy, and that will be sent to you directly. And then we'll be in contact with you about your one-to-one placement. And then we have 2 specialized camp programs. So we have Kids on the Move, which is for ages 4 to 12, runs out of Victoria Road Recreation Center, weeks 1 and 2, 5 and 6. And then we have Youth on the Move for individuals aged 13 to 21. And that one runs weeks 3 and 4, 7 and 8, so opposite of the Kids on the Move. And then we have our Children's Foundation and Jump Start for funding. Funding is, I was actually speaking with our funding coordinator yesterday. Funding is about a 1 to 2 week process, so we just really encourage families to look into this funding if they are wanting to and get that started so that your funding is ready to go for registration day, which I'll give more information. That's March 8th, just because we can't be holding spots. So we want to make sure that if funding is required, that we have that all set up before registration day so you're not missing out on a spot. And then just a little note, the City of Guelph is no longer able to take credit card information over the phone at the time of registration. So ahead of time, please log into your Rec and Roll account, get your credit card information onto your profile. That way, the day of registration, again, you're not missing out on a spot because that credit card information isn't loaded yet. And finally, our registration opens March 8th at 7:30 a.m. We have our website there, as well as the Rec and Roll, which is the website you would use to actually register. Our registration line is 519-837-5699. And then for any additional questions about one-to-one support, feel free to reach me at the information below. Thank you.
So there were a couple questions in the chat that I'm just going to bring up in case people haven't seen them. One is your 4 weeks. Is March break included in your 4 weeks? And
No.
Sarah had answered that. The answer is no. 4 weeks starts beginning of July to the end of August. So that is your 4-week block. And the other one is Kids on the Move offered the same weeks every year, or do you switch it up?
So this is our second year running Kids on the Move, and I believe, sorry, I was actually on maternity leave last year. I believe it's the same weeks as
It
last
was.
year.
Yeah. So last year was the same weeks last year, but moving forward year to year, we just can't guarantee it. But we do know that consistency is important for families. So we try our best, but year to year, depending on facility and so many other things, we just can't guarantee it.
Okay, so thank you, Sarah and Melissa. I'm now, Taylor was not able to be here from Carrie's place, so I am going to share a presentation that he shared with us on Monday evening. So I will start that now for you.
Thank you, everyone. It is great to be here this evening and see all these awesome presentations so far. So my name is Taylor Gilbert. I'm with Carrie's Place Autism Services, and I'm the Manager of Services and Supports for our Respite and Recreation program. And I'm here to just chat a little bit about our Carrie's Place summer camps. So just a little bit of information in terms of our Carrie's Place summer camp. We do provide those full-day opportunities throughout summer for children and youth with autism spectrum disorder. Participants really have that opportunity at our camps to engage in group activities, connect with others their age, and really have an opportunity to take part in activities that would be of interest to them. Everything from arts and crafts to science experiments, baking activities, movement breaks, even some group and collaborative games. And we do like to do a few outings throughout each week of camp as well as potentially bring in some guest facilitators. So just a little bit of information in terms of our Carrie's Place summer camps. So we do offer summer camps in quite a number of different regions. I'm here to specifically sort of talk about our Guelph region camp, because that really would be the primary access point for those that are here today. So that would take part at our Carrie's Place Resource Center that is in Guelph, and it's on Elizabeth Street. Now, also this summer, what we will be looking at is offering a few weeks of virtual camp. We found this to be successful since COVID in terms of having some virtual opportunities for those that might be looking at an at-home option. So we will have 2 weeks of virtual camp as well thrown into this summer. Our cost for our in-person camps is $200. That's for the full week. I know there's a few short weeks this summer, so that cost would be about $160 per week. Throughout the summer, we will be offering camp. We have 8 weeks of summer camp. Now, each week at our Guelph Resource Center, we do have a different age range, and I've included those age ranges below down there. 2 of the primary age ranges that would be for those that are our teenagers would be our ages 12 to 14, as well as our ages 15 to 17 groups. Normally, our in-person summer camp runs from about 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and our virtual option runs from 9:30 to 3:30. I've included a brief sort of session timetable example here. This is just an example of what a regular day may look like. This definitely isn't what every day looks like, but sort of gives a bit of a breakdown. So everything from a morning movement, We like to include some free time and some frequent breaks throughout the day. We also have an opportunity to do whether it's a craft or a science experiment, looking at a social lunch opportunity. And normally that afternoon time is where we like to build in whether it's a guest facilitator, or maybe it's a virtual field trip for our virtual camp, or a field trip out into the community as well. Our ratio, we operate our camps at 5 participants to 2 staff, so it is a bit of a smaller ratio. Now, I know there's been quite a few questions in the chat, so I'll just sort of answer them now related to things like personal care, daily living skills, things like that. Our ratios are smaller because we do provide that care and support to support persons and teens coming into our camp. So we do provide full assistance with things like personal care as well as daily living skills. That results in sort of those smaller participant ratios with our camp, as well as it sort of aids in whenever we go out to things like field trips or community outings. Having that smaller ratio allows us to sort of have that more frequent support with our support persons in the community outings. Couple other things I'll add is just around the themes. So each week of camp throughout the summer is a different theme. So we have a different theme each week, everything from science to performing arts, our Mission Impossible week, things like Planet Earth or sports, animals is another week. We also have our Play and Learn sort of sensory week as well, and also our technology week. So in terms of registration, we will be starting our registration the 2nd week of April. More information in terms of that will be posted likely towards the end of March on our website. And so I've included our website there that just sort of has a running list of our different options that will be posted. You can also feel free to contact us at our intake department. All of our camp registration is done through our intake team. They're a great team and really work with you as families in terms of getting information from you in terms of what you may be looking at for camp weeks and interests for your child. And so they do a really great job of having those conversations with you. So I've included both their email as well as their phone number here for you. And that's it for our Carey's Place camp.
So thank you, Taylor. There was a question in the chat as far as that you were only for autism. So obviously you have to have autism. I actually have one question for you. Can you live out of Wellington County and access your camps, or do you have to live in Guelph-Wellington?
That is a great question, Cheryl, and we welcome anyone out of county as well. So yes, if you are willing to do the drive from Waterloo region or from, say, even from Dufferin, I know there's probably no one here from Dufferin, but yeah, we welcome anyone that would be willing to do the drive. And for our virtual camp, that is open to anyone across Ontario. So yeah.
So as long as your child has autism, you can access the Carey's Place camps. Thank you. So one other question that I did ask Taylor in this email, and that was if your child is a flight risk. And so if your child is a flight risk, he has asked that you please contact Carey's Place prior to registering, just to make sure that they can meet your child's needs and that your child can be safe in camp. So I'm now going to turn it over to Laura, and Laura will be talking to us about SCIC.
Thanks, Cheryl. Just going to get my presentation up. Here it comes. Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming today. I'm Laura McDonald, the coordinator for supporting kids in camp. And our program, for those of you that don't know about it, we are run through CMHA Waterloo-Wellington, and we provide children who have special needs with experienced one-to-one workers for 1 week of the summer for your child, and they can attend a community camp in the Guelph-Wellington region. There's no cost to families to access the SCIC program. They just register for their camp, and then we go to camp with your child. Eligibility to use the program. Your child has to be under the age of 18 and have 2 of a behavioral, physical, and/or cognitive challenge. Your family must live in the Guelph-Wellington region and attend a camp in the Guelph-Wellington region. And we want your child to want to attend camp. That's kind of one of the criteria is we want to be there if your child wants to be there. And as well, your child, the other criteria is that they do need that support for successful inclusion at camp. And we do ask that your child is camp ready too. So similar to what Melissa and Sarah were talking about with is your child camp ready? Do they want to go to the camp? Are they able to follow some direction? Are they able to be in a group? And are they able to have a safe day for themselves and for others? And then, I've asterisked that camps must be located in the Guelph-Wellington region as well. I think there may have been a question. I'm not sure here.
Yeah, Laura, there was.
Oh,
Do you want
it's-
to kind of explain what Guelph-Wellington region is?
I will. Yeah, Waterloo is not in the Guelph-Wellington region. So Guelph, city of Guelph, and then it kind of goes around on our website, on the CMHA website, there is a map of the region, but it does follow up to Center Wellington. So that'd be Fergus, Elora, all the way up to the north, Mapleton, Arthur, and then over south would be the furthest we would go. The camp, I think the furthest south we go is Sunrise, which is very close to the Puslinch border, but it is still in the Guelph-Wellington region. Braebuff is another one that's more kind of that Air Moss or Rockwood way. That's also in our region. If you have any questions about it, you can contact me directly, or you can also look at our map. But it does get a little sticky. It's to do with our funding, so we do have to stay within those parameters. Our SCIC support counselors are with your child and support them using strategies and adaptations, and they provide support during regular program hours of camp. So if the camp runs from 9 till 4, that's when our support is provided. We will work with your family if you're dropping them off a little bit before or picking them up a little bit after. We'll do our best to support during those times, but we do sort of follow that sort of same camp hours as the regular programming. And then let us know what time your child will be arriving and departing so that we can try and make that transition time as smooth as possible. That drop off and pickup can be tricky sometimes, so we like to help out when we can. Our support counselors are 18 years or older and have experience working with children with exceptionalities. We have at least 2 weeks of extended training about inclusion, adaptations, programming, sensory needs, lifting, transfers. We do quite an extensive training on personal care. All of our staff have to have first aid and CPR and a vulnerable sector check. And vaccinations are required for COVID-19 for our staff as well. So how do you apply to supporting kids in camp? First, you choose the camp program for your child and register for camp. So that's step one. You would register for one of the community camps, and then you fill out the SCIC online application and one form and submit it to myself. The program coordinator, which is me, would then contact the camp to ensure that they are committed to the philosophy of inclusion. We've supported many camps over the years, so there haven't been that many new ones pop up over the last few years, but every once in a while we'll get a new one, and I like to kind of check it out to make sure that it's a good fit for our campers. And then I will contact you to let you know if the week you've selected is available and if we can support your child. Registration opens on April 1st. That's a Saturday at 12 noon. So you go on to the website, cmhaww.ca/SCIC, and then you'll see there's a registration form there. So it will ask for your contact information, your child's diagnosis, and we'll talk about ask you to write down your first and second choice of weeks for support, and then also your camp contact information. So we always ask for that second choice just in case the first week has already been filled up. It is first come, first serve. So we encourage you to get on there as soon as possible, and I will process them in order that they come in. So register as early as possible. There's the online application form, and then there's the one form. And our one form is information about your child that will help our counselors get to know them and to support them throughout their week at camp. If the week that you like is not in the drop-down menu on our registration, it means the week is full. So periodically I will go through, and if we end up being full, then I'll pull that week off of our registration form. So if your first week is full, you can be put on the waiting list, and just let me know in the more information area of the application that you would like to be on the wait list, or you can call me directly and I'll put your child on the wait list. I see Sarah says, do we have to do a new form if we did one last year? I would like you to do a new one. And I do have, actually, I'm working on a new form and how it's submitted on our website. So it's going to look a little bit different. We're just in the process of updating that. And I would like a new form each year. You will get an email confirmation sent to you with the email that you've registered with. And the confirmation will state the week that's reserved for your child and what camp. We provide a meet and greet opportunity where you can actually meet the counselor that will be assigned to your child. And that will either be in person, or if for some reason we can't make that happen, we'll try and do it virtually before the child's week of camp. And we usually have 2 dates in June, one in Guelph and one in a Fergus location. And I'll send those out to you in May so that we can schedule it in. And it's a good chance to kind of meet each other and see each other's faces so that we can get excited for our week at camp. So prior to camp, we always encourage connecting with your support counselor and letting me know if your camp plans change. Sometimes that happens, and then it will open up a spot for somebody else. So the sooner you know that your plans have changed, the better to let me know. And let the camp and support counselor know of any strategies that may be useful. Communication and sharing tips and things that work and don't work always make our weeks go better. So we really, really encourage that open communication. So in conclusion, we look forward to working with your family and supporting your child at camp. And our goal is for everyone to have fun, to be safe, and have a successful week at camp. We work really hard at building community with all of our camps and also with communicating with our families. So you can visit the website for more information, or as well, you can contact myself, Laura McDonald, and I'm open to conversation, and I'm open to any tips that you may have. And yeah, feel free to reach out. I look forward to the summer.
Thank you, Laura. What I'm going to do now is, and I'll take Laura off the spotlight. I am actually going to share a bunch of those camps that have the inclusive philosophies. So the first one I'm actually going to share is Camp Sunrise. They unfortunately could not make it tonight. They are a little bit more of a specialized camp. They're the horseback riding camp that isn't push lunch. So Camp Sunrise is a fully integrated summer camp. They have and I did see it in here. I thought I saw it. Yes, they have a 1-to-6 ratio. So that is their normal ratio. So they have a farm discovery camp for 5 to 8-year-olds. They have their horseback riding camp. And then they have a leader in training. The horseback riding camp, they are a little flexible on some of the ages. Again, they do not provide their own one-to-one. So they do have the lower camper to staff ratio. But if your child needs one-to-one support, this is where you would, and you live in Wellington County, you would apply for a SCIC worker to have your week at Camp Sunrise. So I'm going to stop that share, and then I'm going to share some of the other camps where SCIC workers have been placed in the past. And these, again, are all through Wellington County. So the Y of Three Rivers, which is the Guelph-Y, for their day camps. So if there is still space in a day camp, you would register for your day camp and then apply for your SCIC worker if your child requires one-to-one. And then these are in order if registration is open or not. So they're not a geographical around Guelph-Wellington. They're just based on if registration is open or not. Bulldog for kids in Guelph. We have had a lot of families that really enjoy this camp and apply for a SCIC worker if your child needs a one-on-one. The Guelph Outdoor School, again, this is kind of neat. It goes up to age 14, where some of them only go up to age 12. I have talked about Sunrise already. We have the Focus on Nature camps and the Guelph Grotto. So that is another, if your child likes rock climbing and being active, I know there have been SCIC workers in that one. As we move to Elora, the Elora Center for the Arts is also a camp that has had SCIC workers before. And so those are all the camps that registration is open already. So you would, if one of those interests you, you would apply for the camp and then apply to SCIC to get your worker. The next camps will be opening their registration shortly. And so the Creative Encounters, which is at the University of Guelph, they go all the way up to campers going into grade 10. So their registration opens February 27th at 9. The town of Mapleton, which registration opens on March 1st. The camp information is not on their website yet, but when I contacted them, this is the date that their registration will open. Fergus and Elora, the Center Wellington, will open a little bit later on March the 8th, same day as the city camps open. City camps open at 7:30. This one opens at 8:30, so you can balance yourself if you're registering for both of those. If you're in Arthur or Mount Forest, you can consider the Wellington North camps. They open April 3rd. The neighborhood camps, I have not been able to confirm when their registration opens. They typically start their registration at a later date, but they also have had SCIC workers attend. I'm going to stop my share. And so that ends the formal part of the presentation. So I want to thank all of our camps and SCIC for coming tonight and presenting on their camps. I'm going to stop the record and then we can start our informal part where you can turn your mics on and turn your cameras on and ask any questions you want. Let's make sure I stop recording.